Hello, Digimon fans! Well, BT5 dropped early this month, and a new set means a new meta! Yeah! So today we shall talk about purple decks in BT5. Well, why purple? Basically, purple is quite an interesting color. It has gained quite a bit of popularity since its introduction in BT2. And I'm not surprised. It has all sorts of interesting effects like graveyard mechanics and milling and whatnot. Yeah, it has quite a bit of draw power as well. So yeah, you can pull off all sorts of interesting combos with them. Yeah, they are quite interesting, and I had quite a bit of fun with purple in BT5 as well. Yeah. So since BT5 brought some pretty interesting support to purple, I think this is quite an interesting color to play in this set. Well, let's check out 5 of my favorite purple decks in BT5. Battle of Omni brings us quite a bit of Omnimon. We've got Omnimon, Omnimon Zord, Omnimon X Antibody, and Omnimon Zord Defeat. Of these 4, Omnimon Zord and Omnimon Zord Defeat are both usable in purple. Due to Zord D having a security effect, it is mostly used in security control decks, or tagged into decks in hopes that it will end up in the security stack. However, the same cannot be said for Zwart, because Omnimon Zwart is actually a deck core of a very dominant purple deck called the Lilith Loop. The Lilith Loop involves ramping up to Omnimon Zwart via Lilithmon, then flooding your board with a non-stop loop. Lilithmon is the key card in this deck as it has an effect which gains you 2 memory when you use an option. That should go well with Jack Raid, which gains 1 memory for every 10 cards in your trash. Using this combo, you would at least get 3 memory when playing Jack Raid once you build your trash over 10. You can also take 2 option cards from the trash when you Digivolve into Lilithmon, so if your opponent leaves you at 1 memory to start the turn, you can just use 2 Jack Raid, then Digivolve into Lilithmon to take the both of them out from the trash. You can then use them again to gain even more memory. Mega Digimon Fusion then allows you to Digivolve into Omnimon Zord for free, and then you can call out 2 Digimon with 8 or less play cost via Zord's Digivolution effect. The usual Digimon that you can call out include Vilemon, which gives you extra defense, and Chimeramon, which helps you with board control. You can also summon a Guilmon together with it, then delete the Guilmon to gain memory. Plus, as a level 5, you can Digivolve Chimeramon into another Lilithmon, which you can also get by attacking with Zord, then returning Lilithmon under it into your hand. Sounds pretty cool, huh? It might take some time to set up, and it might be a little inconsistent, but once you get the loop going, you're pretty much unstoppable. That's it. Don't get too overboard with the combos though. This deck is pretty prone to decking out, so you still have to try to finish off your opponent when you can. I've made a more detailed video on the Lilith Loop, so feel free to check it out. Chaos Galamon is another card introduced in this set. It's quite a fan favorite really, with more than 50 of the 78 first place purple decks using Chaos Galamon, either as a core or a secondary mega. In fact, it is also quite commonly used as a secondary mega in the Lilith Loop. But how do we use it as core? The answer is Megidramon. If you have a Tamer in play, Megidramon's on-deletion effect allows you to play a level 6 Digimon card with Galamon in its name from your trash or hand for free. Its Digivolution effect helps with that as well, as Digivolving into it trashes the top 5 cards of both players' deck, hence allowing you to mill for Chaos Galamon. Not only that, if you're lucky enough, you can actually mill out your opponent's Digimon as well. I've actually seen games where this deck beats the Tier 1 Lord Nightmon deck just because all 4 Lord Nightmon were milled out. Well, they were milled out at different times, of course. That's it. It's still very luck dependent. Since Megidramon's on-deletion effect requires the presence of a Tamer, you definitely need Tamers in this deck. BT2 Matt Ishida, BT5 Taikamiya and Matt Ishida, and BT5 Takumi Aiba are the more commonly used cards. Taikamiya and Matt Ishida is often used to complement Omnimon Zord and Mega Digimon Fusion. It can even allow your Omnimon Zord to hit with an extra security check. Takumi Aiba's main purpose is also for you to use Mega Digimon Fusion, but other than that, you can also deter Rookie Rush and other decks which utilize on-play Digimon, and also boost your draw power. Lastly, BT2 Matt Ishida allows you to rescue cards that you accidentally mill out. That's it. Even if Tamers are important, you shouldn't overload your deck with Tamers. In the 14 Mega Garuramon decks which won first place in Japan, 12 used 3 to 4 Tamers. Only 1 used more than 4, and 1 used less than 3. So 3 to 4 should more or less be the sweet spot, as having too many might clutter your hand, while having too few might cause you to not get them early enough in the game. Despite Mega Garuramon being able to play Chaos Galamon for free, you would actually only need a maximum of 3, as Chaos Galamon is a purple card, hence would be able to digivolve normally onto your level 5s as well. Plus, if you digivolve into Chaos Galamon, you'd be able to trigger its Digivolution effect for board control. Then, play a purple level 3 Digimon from your trash as a result of its Digivolution effect. That said, if you're thinking of adding BT2 Galamon instead, playing 4 Mega Dramon would be just fine. Oh wait, is that even legal? Well, yes, it definitely is because Megadramon's card tag says a Digimon with Galamon in its name. So as long as there is Galamon, you can play it. However, usually people only tag in one BT2 Galamon as it's usually used to close out games rather than put pressure early on. Plus, drawing it early on when you have a purple base would mean that it is a dead card in your hand. That said, BT2 Galamon really works well with Megidramon as Megidramon mills your opponent's deck. That way, you can trash more security cards using Galamons when attacking effect. To boost your firepower, you can go with Omnimon Sword Defeat, or Millenniumon. Having 2 Mega Digimon Fusion would also be great. Finally, finish up your deck with a standard purple base. Can hardly go wrong here really, it is similar to the base used in Lilithloop, except maybe without Lady Devimon as you won't be relying on options here. While Megidramon was made to combo with Chaos Galamon can fit into other decks as well. Well, if you played Purple Rush with Anubismon in the last meta, you are certainly in luck! Chaos Galamon is a good card to upgrade your deck because it can call out a level 3 purple Digimon from the trash. The concept is pretty straightforward. Build up to Anubismon early game, then hit Chaos Galamon and start summoning Digimon from the trash and rushing your opponent. Not only that, Omnimon Sword is also an integral piece of this deck, as it can call out 2 Digimon with a play cost of 8 or less. Now imagine calling out 2 level 5s and attacking with them straight away! Pretty cool, huh? Though since Sword requires 6 memory to digivolve, you would definitely need to make use of Mega Digimon Fusion. You can also use Demonic Disaster, which would also trigger Chaos Galamon's effect to summon a purple level 3. As for Tamers, Tie and Mat is a must if you want to consistently use Mega Digimon Fusion to get to Omnimon Sword. You can put 3 to 4 of them since, well, there won't be many options for this deck anyway. The base should be pretty standard, similar to the previous 2 decks. However, you might want to maximize the number of BT2 Devimon as it would gain rush if you call it out using Zwart, giving you more board control. You can also have more Chimeramon as it deletes your own Digimon, triggering Chaos Galamon's effect. Rookies like Tapirmon and Guilmon are also important as you can gain some effects while deleting them. So, one thing I haven't touched on is the number of Megas. Since Anubismon is an important card of this deck, you can play 4 of them while having 2 Chaos Galamon to support them. 6 level 6s is a pretty decent ratio because it allows you to maximize your lower levels, which are important because you will be using them to attack your opponent. It also goes without saying that you need 4 Omnimon Sword and Mega Digimon Fusion so that you can effectively rush with bigger Digimon. That's it, it was quite popular in Japan to have 4 Chaos Galamon and 2 Anubismon instead. Frankly speaking, Chaos Galamon is good enough to function by itself, so in such a deck, Anubismon would be more of a bonus rather than the main strategy. This would also mean that you can cut down on Mega Digimon Fusion and Omnimon Sword, while possibly tacking in cards like Omnimon Sword Defeat. Speaking about Chaos Galamon being good enough to function by itself, this is actually the essence of our next deck, Chaos Galamon Tecnimon. Hey, why is there Tecnimon? Well, I don't exactly mean that Chaos Galamon can be the sole mega of the deck, it just can be played as a core on its own without any special combos or synergy. In fact, this is why Chaos Galamon Tecnimon was the most popular purple BT5 deck in Japan, accounting for 32.8% of purple decks which won first place in Japan. Like, wow! It's almost 1/3! But why is it so popular? Is there some sort of synergy between the two cards? Well, if there is, I certainly don't see it. Well, frankly speaking, there is no synergy between their effects. However, Tecnimon is a versatile card and Japanese players love versatility. The main strategy of this deck is to have Tecnimon stand solo until you can build a board, since Tecnimon's effect is maximized when it is the only Digimon in your battle area. It's a good counter to Rookie Rush as well, since it allows you to delete up to 3 of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. In short, Tectimon helps to take care of your opponent's rookies, while Chaos Galamon takes care of the bigger Digimon. This deck also doesn't rely on Omnimon Zwart, so you can have flexibility on choosing your level 7s. Now, most people tend to put in 4 Omnimon Zwart Defeat. Not only is Omnimon Zwart Defeat useful in security, but you can also Digivolve into it to delete your opponent's Tamers. Which apparently, according to some players I've spoken to, was crucial in slowing down their opponents by removing memory tamers. I've also seen some players use Millenniumon as a budget option, but most seem to use Omnimon Zwart Defeat. As for tamers, BT2 Met Ishida seems to be the most common card, as many variants do not use Mega Digimon Fusion. However, if you do, then Tai and Met is the way to go. That said, 2 to 3 tamers seem like the sweet spot, as unlike the previous decks, it is not overly reliant on Mega Digimon Fusion. So if you don't use Mega Digimon Fusion, what other options can you use? Basically, the most common options are Hell's Gate, Deathclaw, and Demonic Disaster. Deathclaw and Demonic Disaster can go well with Chaos Galamon's Your Turn effect, while Hell's Gate gives you removal to pick apart big cards from your opponent. Another deck you can build in this format is the Purple Garuramon deck. It isn't exactly the strongest deck, as only 2 Purple Garuramon decks came out tops in the BT5 records, but nevertheless team decks are still pretty fun. BT5 introduces us to Nokia Shiramine, which has an on-play effect which allows you to play an Agumon or Gabumon without paying its cost. It also reduces the Digivolution cost of Digimon with Greymon, Garuramon, and Omnimon in their names. It's actually normally used in blue and red decks, but it can also be used in purple, as there are 3 different Gabumon in purple. There are also 2 Garuramon, 2 Were Garuramon, 2 Metal Garuramon, and 1 Crest Garurumon. So just throw in a 4th rookie and some blockers, and voila! You've got yourself a Garuramon deck! And not forgetting Omnimon Zwart, which can also get reduced cost from Nokia. Despite promo Metagarumon having the spotlight in BT4, this deck seems better without it, with players choosing to run BT2 Metagarurumon and ST6 Crest Garurumon instead. Both of them allow you to play level 3 Digimon from your trash, so I guess that's one way to prevent yourself from running out of level 3s. Crest Garurumon also has an extra security attack, which gives you added pressure. You can add Demonic Disaster, which can help Metal Garurumon play more level 3s, and also Darkness Claw, which puts your Crest Garurumon at 15,000 DP, enabling it to scale past most cards in the game. In fact, if there's an SD6 Were Garurumon under it and you manage to build your trash past 5 cards, you will actually have 17,000 DP. Now, imagine building up 2 Crest Garurumon, Digibursting once to play a level 3 Digimon, then attacking for 2 security checks. After that, you delete the level 3 you just played with Demonic Disaster to unsuspend your Crest Garurumon for another attack. That effectively clears off 4 security in 1 turn. Well, of course, it might take quite a bit of memory, which means tamers like BT2 Met Ishida and BT5 Tai and Met can be added alongside Nokia, as they enable you to have some memory to pull off such combos. Of course, striking a balance between the number of tamers is important, so going with 2 Nokia and 2 Met or Tai and Met should be more or less the sweet spot. Maybe run 3 Nokia at most? So, do you like decks with combos, or straightforward decks, or even team decks? Looks like Purple has them all. Yes, so why don't you try them out and let me know which deck suits you the most? Or you can also suggest more Purple decks which you have tried and I did not talk about. Yep, hit me up in the comments if you have anything to say. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's all from me today. Thank you very much for watching. See ya!